Hi, welcome to Joey's Hi-Fi Shop. Today I'm going to be talking about the Rega Elex MK4. I just got one in on trade. I had a customer order a Rega Aura phono section and traded in a Elex MK4. And I've gotten to listen to it now for about a week, 2 weeks, yeah. And before I had the Elex MK4 hooked up to the system, I had the Rega Brio hooked up. I was using a P2 in Rega Kites. And so I got to do a comparison to that. And then I also compared it to the Illicit MK5. And I hooked the Rega Naya up with the Rega Aria phono preamp and the Rega Alia speakers. Aya speakers. There we go. And so yeah, so it's all that to say I've got to do a lot of comparisons and listening with it. And I have to say it fits very nicely within the scope of Rega in that for me, a really killer system right now is a P2 Rega Brio in Kites. Like to me, that's just the perfect system in this price range right now. I think the Rega Elex MK4, I think about the R all the time, sorry. The Elex MK4 fits nicely above that. I would definitely say it's a P6 kind of amp, meaning that it can handle having a P6, and I think it would benefit from a P3 or P6. Listening to it with the P2 was good, but when I hooked up the Naya, it was a huge difference. It was huge. Whereas on the Brio, it wasn't as pronounced of a difference. I was really surprised at, because I really like listening to the Rega P2 with the Brio. And when I hooked it up to the Elex MK4, it sounded good, but I felt like something was missing. And when I hooked up the Naya, I was just like, wow, okay, yeah, this is crazy. So I think the next thing to do when I do an update on the Elex MK4 is hook up, I have a P3 RS, hook that up with the ND5 and see what that sounds like. Obviously that would have been logical, but with the way my system is set up to demo, I just had the P2 right there and I was like, let's give this a run. So so that was good. The Rega Kites are admittedly a little small for this room, but with that taken into consideration, they sounded really, really good with the Elex MK4, but the Ayas, they really lock in. I think the Ayas with the Elex MK4 is a great combination and one that I highly recommend. Other than that, it has some features that the Brio just doesn't have, like some preamp outs. And recently I built a subwoofer a while ago, but I've recently reintroduced it into this system just to kind of see what that's like. And so it's nice to have these pre-outs and see what that experience is. I will say, I mean, y'all know I'm a huge Rega fan. I love Rega and I love my Rega Kites and Ayas. But I am yearning for a statement speaker at some point. I may even have to go to a different brand. I've been looking at a lot of different brands in terms of a bigger speaker. One of my favorite is ATC's. I used to sell ATC at Dreamanoids with Christian over there. He sells them. Make sure you check them out. If you're in San Antonio, great shop to go check out. And Christian now has a bunch of really cool vinyl, like amazing vinyl. That's one of his really big talents, is curating vinyl. I will be selling vinyl soon. I'll sell a little bit different than what he sells, but yeah, and he knows his stuff. So it's probably weird to be on a YouTube channel for a hi-fi shop, and I'm promoting another one. But Christian is, I mean, he's my best friend, and I love what we did there, and I love what he's doing there. So I can't not promote him. I mean, it's amazing. And of course, another shout out is to Whetstone Audio. Brian has delved heavily into tubes now, and he also sells records, if I remember correctly, or at least used to. I assume he still does. I need to go see that guy. I'm going to be in Austin tomorrow. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, they have a nice array of different stuff than even what I sell. So I recommend checking them out. But yeah, I'm looking into some other speaker brands to carry. And if y'all want to leave some in the comments that you think I should check out, let me know. Because as much as I like having the Rega kites and Ayas, they do, in a bigger room, we need bigger speakers. I mean, I've had fine audio, back in the day, I had some fine audio 704s, which are like dual 12-inch with a dual concentric driver on each speaker in here. And it grips the whole house. It makes a really big statement, and it sounds amazing. These speakers, they perform so well for what they are, and those speakers were $20,000. I think they're even more now. The Ayas are $2,500. They're not, if I remember correctly, they may be around that price. And so I need to find some to move up on. And so yeah, again, if y'all have any ideas, let me know. But the Elex MK4, I think, is just a very, very versatile amp. I will do a follow-up video, because I think what I'll do is I'll hook up the Rega P3 RS into the phono section of the Elex MK4 and kind of give y'all some feedback about that as well. Because one of the things I know Rega people really like is being able to hear a little bit about the phono sections and how they perform with different turntables and cartridges. And so I think that's definitely a next move, because I've already listened to the P2 with the phono section, and I'll go ahead and put the P3 in. The Naya has an Indy 7 on it right now, so technically I could also compare that. That's kind of getting up into doesn't make sense to do, but maybe we'll have a nonsensical second review that has a little bit of fun in it. Let me know if you want to see that. But yeah, other than that, shop has been doing all right. We're like surviving. We're not selling crazy, but we're not dead in the water either. We've kind of been humming along. Like I said, I'm going to start selling vinyl soon. So locally and possibly a little bit online. We'll see how that looks. The other thing is, some of y'all know I had a HiFi mentor named Creston Funk, and I inherited a lot of his high-end classical vinyl, or vinyls as the kids say. And I'm wondering, if that's something that you all are interested in hearing about, because I am learning a ton about it, about all the different labels and kind of just how you get into classical high-end vinyl, because I just didn't, I don't know. I grew up knowing there were audiophile pressings of vinyl, like Chesky Records or maybe like Stereophile. And I know over at PS Audio, Paul Gowan he doesn't record symphonic too much, but high-end audio recordings. And so when I really kind of went back and listened to these London, I think FRR records and Philips, and these Red Seals, and like Nate, I think, is another one, and just like I said, there's a whole slew of them. I'm happy to kind of really put together some kind of informational video about those vinyls, because I think that's a pretty interesting topic. So anyways, I hope y'all are doing well, and I'm glad that I got to talk a little bit about the amp that came in. I'll put some B-roll over the beginning of this video so y'all can kind of see what it looks like. And yeah, if y'all have any questions, leave it in the comments. You can always email me. I do have some stuff I'm selling on eBay as well under Joey's HiFi Shop. So keep an eye out for that. I typically sell like D&M cables or secondhand Rega cables that I'll get in on trade. So keep your eyes peeled on that. Hope you're having a great week. Take it easy.